What's going on, guys? So it is an absolutely beautiful day outside today, and I figure I would make kind of I guess a Christmas gift or a Christmas product idea video. I know that there are all sorts of really great products that are out on the market for various different tasks, and in this video I'm going to be going over some of my favorite. Now, just because it's something I like does not mean that it has to be something you like. There are so many products that are available for RVing, for pickup trucks, for towing, for SUVs, that for me to say what I'm going to show you is the best would absolutely not be accurate. But these are things that I've had a chance to review, in many cases compare against other products, and some product ideas that you might be interested in, especially if you're looking at getting a gift for someone special over the holidays, or even if you're just looking at upgrading a gift for yourself for your truck or RV. Hang tight, I'll be right back. Now, this video is likely to be awfully out of sequence with the production time of many of my other videos. So you might see things in this video that haven't yet appeared on my channel in a video where I'm doing a full review on a certain product. So just bear that in mind. This might be a sneak peek video for a lot of you if you see certain things and I talk about them briefly. That said, I'm going to go over several different categories of products that I often get asked questions about, and people want to know if I prefer one over the other, or if these are things that you might want to consider as a gift or an upgrade to something you may already have or not have. So let's start off with hitches. I don't think it's any surprise. Most people have seen the wall of hitches. I have these hitches. I have more on the other side. If people were to ask me what brand of hitch is my favorite, I couldn't answer that question honestly, because there's reasons why I love some brands over other brands. There's reasons why I like certain features of some brands over other brands. And all this is going to be about is specifically the hitches that I trust the most. I am into super heavy duty hitches. On the back of my F450, I really don't think I would ever install a hitch that has a sub 15,000 pound rating to it. Not that it needs it, not that I tow any conventional trailers that weigh over 15,000 pounds, but I definitely like that safety margin. And this may be different than some of you all. You might have a 12,000 pound rated hitch and that's totally fine for you. But for me, in the back of that truck, I specifically like super heavy duty hitches. The heaviest duty of hitches I have, in front of me at least, are going to be my bulletproof hitch, rated at 36,000 pounds with over 6,500 pounds worth of tongue weight capacity. My Gen Y mega hitch right here, which has a 32,000 pound rating with 3,500 pounds worth of tongue weight capacity. And then my WaySafe products. This one specifically is the new 180 Steel Pro. Big fan of WaySafe products. If I had to say overall, my favorite brand of hitches is going to be WaySafe. Mainly because even if you look at their aluminum lineup, they are so freaking overbuilt. The one I currently have in the back of my truck is the 180 aluminum version with the 3-inch shank. I have the 180 Steel Pro, which is probably my next favorite, and I love all of their scale hitches as well, the ones that have the built-in scale. This one right here has definitely gotten the most use out of any hitch that I have up on the wall, probably followed by my B&W. I absolutely love B&W products. I believe they are phenomenally well built, super high quality. If you are specifically looking for a hitch that you can tuck out of the way, that is an absolutely great product, along with some of these others that you can remove the ball head and put it on the back and kind of tuck it out of the way as well. You can even do that with Gen Y. You can see that that's the current configuration that that one's in. So big fan of B&W, huge fan of WaySafe, big fan of Gen Y. A lot of versatility and capability here. I love the single pin capability where you just pop one pin out and you remove whatever you need to remove. That's really nice. Biggest gripe against them is they stick out pretty dang far off of the vehicle. Bulletproof, also super overbuilt, but they do stick out pretty far off the vehicle. WaySafe sits nice and close to the vehicle. It's the only one that has a factory built-in locking mechanism to prevent the hitch head from being stolen. And it has the most microscopic adjustments. That and B&W will probably be kind of head-to-head in that race. But if you want to know the brands that I gravitate to the most, it would absolutely be first WaySafe, probably after that would be Gen Y, third Bulletproof, and fourth B&W, even though B&W should probably be a little higher on that list because I am also a big fan of B&W products. So it has absolutely been a while since I have used my B&W Companion fifth wheel hitch. But if I were to ever go back to a fifth wheel hitch, I'd say that B&W would definitely be on the very short list of products that I would put in the bed of my vehicle. I love the fact that it locks into the puck system, but that's not unique to them. You can get hitches from Kurt, Polaroid, all different brands that lock into the puck system. What I like about B&W is the simplicity and the rugged nature of the actual fifth wheel hitch. The fact is, I have never seen one of these fail. I've never seen one of these actually have a catastrophic failure which has led to an accident or as a result of an accident. The only time I've ever seen damage to one was when I think the fifth wheel rolled off of the vehicle and one of the arms bent and it freed the hitch head, which in my opinion is kind of a win. That's something that you might want it to do, otherwise it would have made the truck roll with it. 1-inch jaws wrapped completely around the kingpin, but there are other brands that do that as well. The simplicity here is that the locking mechanism and the jaw operation is this one bar right here. When you drop the pin through the holes, you know that you're locked in place and you have a very, very solid connection. The only challenge some folks have occasionally had with this is the jaws not wanting to open up if you're in a certain kind of articulation with your trailer, and you have to work with it, you have to kind of finagle with it a little bit to get them open. Nothing catastrophic, nothing like a permanent problem while you're camping, but it can sometimes create a headache. Kurt makes an absolutely phenomenal, several absolutely phenomenal fifth wheel hitches. So does Reese. A lot of folks do. A lot of folks make really, really good products in this category. My favorite happens to be B&W, probably followed by some of the newer Kurt stuff, even though I really like the fact that B&W is made in America and I love supporting the U.S. economy and U.S. jobs. So fifth wheel hitches, I'm going to have to give it to B&W. And then behind that, you know, pick your brand. There's a lot of other really good brands. They're all really reputable. I would definitely trust B&W probably first and foremost amongst any fifth wheel hitch. And this is not a sponsored video. They're not paying me to say any of this. I'm just letting you know how I feel about certain products. Next, not really RV or truck related, but it's certainly stuff you may carry in your truck, and that's tools. I have been a DeWalt user for years, well over a decade. I am one of those folks that constantly upgrades to the newest versions and have constantly kept up with pretty much their entire 20-volt lineup. And I have what's in here plus probably 3 other drawers full of them, plus every woodworking tool you can imagine. I probably in total have about 50 to 60 DeWalt tools and probably about 50 batteries for them as well. Mainly the big 5 amp hour and the 6 amp hour batteries, as well as some of their larger flex batteries. Now, I have recently made a choice to switch from buying DeWalt to buying Milwaukee. Got a lot of Milwaukee tools now. Got some of their lower cost ones, some of their higher cost ones, some of their, well, that's actually an off name right there because I couldn't find the one I needed and I bought that one in a pinch. I have their fuel lineup in both drills as well as impact wrenches. I mean, I have a lot of tools from both brands. I can honestly tell you that for 99% of applications, you're not going to go wrong with either of them. At the end of the day, though, I do kind of feel that Milwaukee has the edge. Just to be honest, I've used them all. I can't say that I'm biased towards one. No one's ever provided me any tools for review and evaluation. No one's ever sponsored my channel. I can just tell you my own personal money, what I spend my money on. I'm definitely leaning a little bit more towards Milwaukee now than DeWalt. But again, when I open up my drawer to grab a drill or an impact driver or whatever I grab out of here, you know, as you can see, I already got stuff ready to go, and it doesn't matter whether it's a Milwaukee or a DeWalt, it's whatever my hand gravitates to in terms of the type of tool I need at that moment. So anything you get from either of these brands, I would definitely look for the words brushless on them. They're all going to appear. That one says it right there. Brushless right there. I mean, everything I have is brushless, so it's definitely the way to go. They're going to last longer, they're not going to wear out as quickly, and they're going to provide more power and efficiency. Just a better route to go. But DeWalt and Milwaukee, my 2 favorite brands. I have Ryobi tools, I have Makita tools, I have beaten a snot out of some Makita tools out in the yard. Personally, Makita has not lasted for me as long as DeWalt, and currently I guess Milwaukee. It's too early to tell on Milwaukee, but I would take my DeWalt tools over the Makita, just my personal preference. You may not believe it, but I actually cleaned this wall up like a week ago, and it is completely cluttered again. So we're going to talk about suspension. I know a lot of folks that get RVs listen to my message about upgrading to a rubberized suspension that can help dampen some of the shock and vibration from the tires, wheels, axles up through the chassis of the RV. I talk a lot about the Road Armor from Lippert, which is still one of my favorites. I believe the folks over at Brinkley actually tested it, and it came away as one of the best performing suspensions they've seen. The Cree 3000 3000 is actually a really good product. The Dexter Easy Flex is a really good product. There's a lot of really great products in terms of suspension upgrades. Again, I'm a big fan of Road Armor. I'm a big fan of the Cree 3000. I'm a big fan of both what Lippert and MORryde are doing from a suspension enhancement perspective, but Dexter also is doing good stuff. I do like the new Alltrek 4000 from MORryde. It is a fantastic product and it performs really well. And even though some folks will claim that super springs can potentially damage the frame of your RV, the flange, if you're not careful, I don't necessarily think that that's a concern most people would have to worry about. Maybe a few who take their RVs to some really, really extreme conditions to where the suspension is super articulated and it's compressing one of these springs more than it probably should, where it could probably bend the flange of the I-beam a little bit. That said, I think for 99% of folks out there, they're never going to experience a problem with the super spring causing any kind of an issue with the frame of their RV. I think that the benefits outweigh the risk as long as you're not putting your RV under too much risk. That's probably the best way of saying it. We have not taken ours off. I think they perform well. I think, honestly, one of the best upgrades you can do before you even consider any of this stuff is to get your tires and wheels balanced on your trailer, on your RV. Take it to a discount tire or whoever you take it to. Get them balanced. That's going to probably be the single biggest upgrade you can do before you install something like this. And if you have an upgraded suspension, still go out there and get them balanced. I think that that is just something you should absolutely do. Now we are still at the pile, and you probably see a weight distribution hitch right here. That is a WaySafe product. I have another WaySafe product. I have a Reese product back here, and I have a B&W buried in here somewhere. Actually, the B&W is behind me. I also have an equalizer in here as well. And they're all really, really good setups, but the one that I feel kind of has risen to the top in terms of overall performance for me and us towing the roughly 6,500 pound Surveyor has been the new B&W Continuum. I'm super impressed with the performance overall. I don't get any type of really weird feelings. I love the ability to dump pressure out of the system if I'm going to go up an incredibly steep incline, so I'm not putting all of that pressure to the A-frame of the trailer. I'm just really impressed with what the folks over at B&W have done with the Continuum. Outside of that, if it's a spring bar based system, I'd have to say WaySafe would come in number 2 because it gives you the numbers. It lets you see what's going on. It's super easy to make weight distribution adjustments with it, regardless of the system you have. But quite frankly, it does a great job of weight distribution as well as sway control, and you can't ask for much more than that. So number 1 on my list would be B&W Continuum. Number 2 would be weight distribution from WaySafe. And then after that, as long as you're using a spring bar type weight distribution system with sway control, whether it's Blue Ox, whether it's Equalizer, whether it's Reese or Kurt, a lot of really good products out there. But again, my favorite's B&W, followed up by WaySafe. Okay, so the next one's going to be a bit controversial because I know that the messages on these can be really, really, I'm just going to say, all over the place. So the tires we have on our RV are the Continental HTL2 Eco Plus J-rated tires. These are absolutely insane. They're 17.5-inch diameter tires. I guess I might as well pull it off so you can see. Sorry, I got kids playing behind me. These tires are absolutely insane. They are beasts. And I know that there is a lot of controversy over tires, whether you should get tires that are manufactured in the US or other countries, because tires are made all over the place. They're not just made in China, and they're not just made in the US. Continentals are absolutely great. Certain Goodyear tires, like the Endurance, are really good tires, but you're not going to find them in a G, H, or J rated load spec. Saloon, which is not a US manufactured tire, is a great tire. Westlake is now coming out with really, or has been coming out with great G, H, and I believe even J rated tires. Provider, which is again not made in the US, makes good one. Hercules makes really good tires. Carlisle still makes really good tires, but the key here is making sure the tire is more capable than what the rating of your RV is, even when loaded up. You don't want a tire that's right at capacity, and you definitely want to come out and check the air pressure and make sure your tires are maintained and not have them exposed to too much UV light, or not having them sit out too long to where you're just going to experience drying and rotting of the tire. If you go to a super heavy duty tire, please keep in mind that you should also upgrade your suspension if you don't have one upgraded. Mainly because a heavy duty tire is going to have a thicker, more rigid sidewall, a stiffer sidewall, which means that you're going to transfer more shock from the road into the chassis of your RV. That is a fact. It holds true with vehicles as well. If you go to a heavier duty tire on a vehicle, it's going to make the interior a lot more jittery, a lot rougher feeling because of the increased air pressure as well as the thicker and more rigid sidewall. That's why having suspension components that can help mitigate some of that shock into the RV is so dang important. That's one of the reasons why I always recommend balance your wheels and tires, put an upgraded suspension equalizer, have some type of rubber bushing, something built into it to help dampen that shock and vibration, and try to mitigate the risk by doing things to your setup that's going to make it a little bit smoother inside. So balancing everything out, we have the stick-on magnets inside of these, by the way, so these are all balanced out, but upgraded suspension with a super beefy tire, as long as it's balanced, as long as you're not transferring too much inside of the RV, is never really a bad thing. Because you don't want to improve the reliability of your setup here, but cause so much shake, rattle, and roll inside of your RV that you end up tearing it apart. So just something to think about. Next, we're going to talk about RV door handles, because there's a lot of these that are made out there, a lot of different companies. Some companies are knocking off other companies, which you got to be careful for. But the one we have here on the RV is made by a company called Global Link. This was an upgrade we did. My channel sponsor carries this one. It's not a bad setup, and what I actually really like about it is the fact that it gives you this really nice handle to open up on the back, and the locking mechanism doesn't actually throw a deadbolt out, it just locks this in place. So it doesn't move once you have it locked right here. This is all steel right here as well. None of this is plastic except for the battery cover. And then this piece right here acts as your deadbolt, even though there's no physical deadbolt that comes out. So works really well. Good functional lock. What I don't like about it though is the fact that it uses one of the CR123 batteries, just one of them. And I find myself having to replace batteries pretty dang often, which is not something I like to do, especially when the battery dies and you don't know that it's dying. So you come out here, you try to unlock it and it won't unlock because the battery's dead, then you got to replace it. My favorite door locks are RV locks. Now, this is not a sponsored segment, nothing sponsored about it. I bought this on Amazon Black Friday sale for like $50 or more off of the normal MSRP. Love it. This is a great upgrade. I love how smooth it operates. I love the fact that the keys are very specifically keyed. It's not some universal key. I love how quiet it is, how smoothly it operates, how it's steel on the inside. If you get this specific version 4, if you get the compact version, I think it's still plastic, but they are going to be releasing their new Atlas version, which I hope to get my hands on and do a segment on it so you can see what those upgrades are. I love the fact that it has 2 wireless remotes, so you can be able to control 2 locks from 1 remote. Just a really, really great lock. This is probably one of my favorite accessory upgrades you can put on an RV, and I definitely recommend going with reputable brands if this is something you're looking for. RV Lock, Global, they both make absolutely fantastic products. I believe RV Lock is several notches above Global, but then there's a bunch of just knockoffs that are designed to replicate, imitate, but honestly, I don't know how long they'll hold up. I don't know how long they'll perform, and this is one of those areas you just don't want to deal with a hassle, especially when it comes to getting in and out of your RV. So RV Lock, super reputable brand, and a company I definitely recommend getting their product from. Another product is Smart Plug. So we installed this on the Surveyor. Shortly after we got the Surveyor, we replaced the 50 amp connection that was out here that came on the RV, the twist lock style connection, with this after running into the folks from Smart Plug at I think we were at the Hershey RV show, and them really demonstrating why this is superior. So much so that a lot of your larger Class A's as well as Airstream utilize this as an OEM product, is what they just include. What is great about this is the fact that it reduces the chance that you're going to have a fire because of a poor connection, and that's huge in itself. There are so many folks who have left comments after I made the video on this where people are like, is this just a dumb upgrade? Does anybody really need to upgrade to this? And they actually said that they came out one time, checked their plug, and it was melting, or that it caused major damage to the interior or even the plug area of their RV. And I would just assume not even take the chance and just get something like this if you can afford it, if you can put this on your RV, because it's just a very smart product, and it's one that I feel a lot of peace of mind having it on the Surveyor. I wish I had the space to put it on the Brookstone without having to cut a new hole. We may try to do it, but at the same time, yeah, don't let that hold you back from getting this thing. Very, very good product. Definitely one that I would recommend if you are looking to enhance the safety whenever you're plugged into shore power. Now, in terms of power stations, this is going to be a bit controversial because there's a lot of companies who produce these things. My personal favorite is Blue Yeti. I know that there are all sorts of different brands out there. I have featured a ton of them, and I'm not saying any of them are bad, but from a constant innovative perspective, a constant safety-minded, a safety-focused approach to it, I'd have to say Blue Yeti stands out amongst them all. This is a product you may or may not have seen on my channel yet, because I'm not sure if I've published the video on it. Got this in recently. The reason why is because the folks at Blue Yeti wanted me to see what their new IP65 rated, outdoor rated power station was all about. Very, very cool. 2400 watts, 1536 watt hours of power, 30 amp connection for your RV, two 120 volt connections right here, USB-C, USB-A, cigarette lighter style plug on it, 12 volt connection. You can charge it with solar. You can daisy chain this to other Blue Yeti expansion packs to give you much, much more capacity. But Blue Yeti, to me, is kind of the innovative leader in this space. Again, a lot of other products out there, not knocking any of them really, but I'd have to say that to me, Blue Yeti is kind of my trusted brand if I had to pick from any of them out there. They've been doing it for a long time. They've definitely nailed the overall look, the features that most people are looking for, Wi-Fi connectivity, Bluetooth connectivity, all the ability to expand this thing, the ability to use this with different types of connectors, just really, really good product. So yes, I know Jackery makes good products, and like I said, there's tons of them out there. There's lots of really good products, but for me, it would be Blue Yeti. And then finally, if you are looking for the ultimate gift for someone who tows a trailer, this is the one I would recommend, the BTBRV eTrailer Collaborative Tongue Weight Scale. This thing is super cool, goes up to 2,000 pounds worth of tongue weight capacity, has a ball that will fit all of your common couplers. You can adjust the height right here. Very, very cool, works exceptionally well. You can even put a snap pad on the foot of the base, which is really, really nice if you want to do that. Just a great, great product. This thing is absolutely super cool. I love the fact that I was able to collaborate with my channel sponsor eTrailer to get this thing out to you also. So you guys have an option when it comes to checking your tongue weight and doing it in a really reliable way. Comes with a great bag that you can put it inside of to protect it whenever it's inside of your vehicle. It compresses into this really nice compact setup right here, up to 2,000 pounds worth of capacity that you can check in terms of tongue weight, and it's just going to give you that extra peace of mind to know how you're loading your trailer or your RV. And you know, it's just one of those things that you really want to know. You want to understand and have a thumb on exactly what weight looks like that's being transferred to your vehicle, and if you need to do any balancing or shifting of weight in order to give you the best possible towing experience. But my channel sponsor eTrailer carries this. Definitely think it is a beautiful product. I'm so glad to be able to work with them to have this thing brought to market for you all. It even has the tonnage designators on here. Again, keep in mind, this is not to specifically say what size truck you should get. It's simply a tonnage designator, quarter ton, half ton, 3/4 ton, and 1 ton, so you know how much weight, again, you're transferring to the back of your vehicle, because that is super important to keep an eye on. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a relatively long video. I'll put links in the description of this video to all of my favorites that I talked about, all the things that I suggest, recommend, things that I like, things that I think work better. But again, it's all based off of my opinion, and you may have differing opinions, which is totally fine, and that's what a comment section's for, so you can leave your opinions as well. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, check out the tongue jack from eTrailer. I'll put a link there as well. We'll talk to you again very soon.